Hi, Ben. Greetings from a small park here in Shimizu, Japan, by the river here. I'm reading your message here. Interesting how you say about being successful American. I'd kind of forgotten about that part of things. I think I was pretty successful when I was there, and there was a lot that came with that. A lot of good feelings that came with that. I remember that. I think I'll have a hard time doing that again, largely because my skill sets evaporated away. I'll have to start from scratch, and I'm going to be over in my 50s, and I know that the competition is fierce. So my wife keeps telling me, it's a curious thing, she keeps telling me every time I talk about what I'm going to do in the States for a job, she always tells me, you've got a job. And what she means by that, and this just blows my mind, is what I do here, vlogging on YouTube. She's just encouraging me to do this full time. Now I don't think that's going to pay the bills. I know it won't. Not at least. But I have a couple more years. I'm getting closer. To being able to do that. But still, it's an interesting thing. She says you have this. You know how to do it, and it's established, and just keep it up. I really appreciate that encouragement from her. She's never been one to really worry too much about the money side of things, as long as we've got enough to get by. And her idea of getting by is pretty simple, pretty humble. I guess that's a good benefit of coming from. By the way, I'm joining some of the red can ibisu tonight. From the benefit of, you may not remember this. I don't know how long you've been out of Japan, but the white can and the gold can, but there's the red can too. It's very good. Not as good as the black can stuff, but I like even better. I'm getting off track. But it's kind of scary when you mention about being a successful American and the pressures it entails. Not that I'm lazy or anything like that, but I'm certainly not as ambitious. It's a bug in my beer. I'm not as ambitious as I was. Don't go in the beer. Come here, you. Get out. I'm not as ambitious as I was when I was living in the States before. Yeah, I was talking to Molly today about that, telling him how, one of my coworkers told me how he stayed at the school. He stayed up till 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. last night, and I was talking to Molly about that. And I used to do that kind of thing when I was in the software industry. I've done overnighters, all-nighters, just stayed, worked through the night. And I can't do that anymore. I won't do that anymore. I mean, I would if I really, really had to, but I don't want to. I'm not interested in the least in doing that. I'm interested in doing the best job that I can in the 8 hours that I'm allotted to work, and then cutting out and doing this kind of stuff. Enjoying a little bit of evening, beautiful spring evening, sitting on a park bench beside some little orange flowers, and reading email and responding, and just soaking up life. I've had enough of that stuff in my younger years. I guess that's why sometimes at least some older people are less employable, perhaps, because maybe we're not drinking the Kool-Aid like we did when we were younger, and towing the party line, and willing to devote more than an equitable amount of time, or a fair amount of time of ourselves to our jobs. Things have changed. I know the landscape is different in the United States now, so maybe you have to change that. Maybe I should stay here. I have a good job. They don't expect more than my hours out of me. My job is easy. It's fun. It's interesting. I have great coworkers. Wonderful people to work with. The only thing is that I just can't be like you and I have talked about. I can't be the man of the house. So maybe Molly keeps bugging me. He keeps telling me, just learn the damn language, bud. He keeps on telling me. Maybe that's what it comes down to. Maybe you mentioned in the last part of your email there about how if the communication had been better, then maybe it would have been less of a problem. Maybe that's the thing. But let's get to the point. You asked about my daughter. I had mentioned that we wanted to go back for our daughter. This was strategic. The whole thing, coming here in the first place and then now going back, is all part of a plan. And here's the plan. Emily was born in 2000. We only have one child. Emily was born in 2000 in the United States. She was raised there till she was 3. And we decided to come here to raise her here through elementary school. And that was twofold purpose. One was to live in the neighborhood with her in-laws, and my mother-in-law is having some health problems, so part of the reason was to be close to her to help out. But it turns out she doesn't need much of our help. My sister-in-law is doing most of that. And mom-in-law doesn't seem to need much help anyway. She has Alzheimer's, but she's definitely suffering, but she's doing all right. So, but our daughter, we wanted her to be close to her in-laws, to know her Japanese family here, and to learn Japanese, basically, and to understand the Japanese culture, to get the heart of a Japanese. And as well as I that that's a special heart. It's in some ways people might criticize me if I say this, but I think it's true. It's kind of a naive heart in a way, but it's also it's kind of a an insular heart in terms of the society here. You know, it's not a worldly society. I don't think so. I don't think you can call that. It's got a Western veneer, but it's definitely it's wada Nipponjin, we Japanese. But I wanted her to have that. We wanted her to have that. We wanted her to do that. So she just finished. She graduated from elementary school, so it's time to go back. But we decided to stay a couple more years. That was for language. We're going to stay with at least 2 more years because she's to the point now, finishing 6th grade. If we go back now, she won't study Japanese the way she does now. She'll be able to read Japanese and write and understand Japanese, at a roughly functional level for the rest of her life. But if we just stay just a couple more years through junior high school, she'll basically be at near adult level for the rest of her life. And that's a worthwhile thing to stick a couple more years. Give her that. Now she's studying English. Part of the reason we chose the school that we did was that this school's emphasis is on English, and she studies English every day, and that's part of the reason so she's ramping up on the English. She's going to have the Japanese by the time we get back. We want to take her back. She'll have the Japanese heart. We take her back, go through high school in the States, and make an American out of her. So maybe we're being too ambitious and trying to give her both worlds. Give her the Japanese and give her the American, and let her become a true mixture of both. Hopefully, she'll become truly bilingual. And although we're not parents that want our daughter to become valedictorian and go to Harvard Law and all that kind of stuff. We want her to live her life the way she wants. I'm not an academically oriented person. I wish I was more academically oriented, but I'm not overly. But we think giving her both of her cultures to the greatest extent that we can is a good thing. So that's our goal. That's why we're going to do that. You asked me a question. You said, would you say that the opportunity for life after school and also for sports are there for kids growing up in Japan these days? I'm not sure that I understand what you mean by after school. Are you talking about after school graduation, or after school during the day-to-day basis? And so let me address both of them. First, for the after school on a day-to-day basis, absolutely. I work at a K through 12 institution, and the school shuts down the doors at 6 o'clock. Kids are there for activities. They're allowed to stick around. Younger kids are allowed to stick around till about 4. The older kids, junior high school on, till about 6. Have an announcement. Like you can hear that. That's a boat. Announcement saying, we're closing the school, everybody go home. And still they stay later than that. My daughter in elementary school, she's starting to come home. Part of the reason I can do this, you may have noticed if you've been following my channels, I don't know how long you've been watching, I don't do this kind of stuff. After work vlogs from a park, I just don't do this kind of stuff. The reason I'm doing this is that my daughter's in junior high school now. She's there until 6. She gets home around 6:30 or 7 o'clock every night. And my wife's out and about. She's shopping. She's doing her grocery shopping. She's over at her parents' house, chatting up with her sister, doing her things. There's nobody home, so I go out and drive around. This is great. It's a heck of a lot of fun. I just ride around on my bicycle, making videos and response videos. So yeah, they do that. They do that after school, after graduation. I guess that's not what you meant, because I wouldn't know how that answered that. It would be on a case-by-case basis, so I think I answered that. Excuse me, I'm burping so much. I need more beer. Ben, I hope that answers your question. I thank you for asking it. Now it's time for me to close up the camera, go wander off and find another place to make more videos, as I am wont to do. Take care, Ben, and let's keep in touch, okay? Talk later.